Hi everybody, Dr. David Moffet here in Burrowang, New South Wales, and I'm talking to Julie Parker in Melbourne, and it's Sunday afternoon. Julie, thanks for being on the call with me, and
My
really
pleasure.
glad to be talking with you about the event that we've got planned in Merimbula next month. I think it's only 5 weeks away now, the Dental FireAid New South Wales. So the reason we're putting that on is that Merimbula and a lot of towns in south coast of New South Wales as well as in Victoria have really been hit hard by the bushfires and also the follow-on effects of nobody going to those towns during the holiday periods, and their economies are really suffering. So that's the reason that Dr. Craig Newman in Merimbula and I decided that it would be nice if we could get a dental conference happening in Merimbula to bring some dentists there to stimulate the economy, stimulate the accommodation economy, the restaurant economy, the entertainment economy, the tourism economy down there, and see whether we can just raise some attention for Merimbula on the map. So, Julie, you're going to be speaking there. Can you tell me what you plan to be speaking on?
Absolutely, David, and thanks for the opportunity to actually speak. I'm so thrilled to be involved in it. Are we speaking on teams, how to develop a team of really top performers, how to create that environment for them to thrive and to start making your practice super successful?
Oh, that's great, because sometimes dentists just don't have any idea. These things aren't taught in dental school. You're basically given your degree on what to do inside the mouth, but outside the mouth, but inside the office, you've got no idea. So that's also in line with our encouragement that we want dentists not to just attend on their own, but to bring their teams. One, it helps boost the number of people that are visiting Merimbula, but two, it's a lot easier to communicate the ideas if they've already heard them at the presentation. So, Julie, that'll be great. I'll be looking forward to hearing what you've got to say. When I gave you the call about what we were doing, what made you want to speak?
Well, your timing was pretty magnificent. Every year, my family, my cousins, aunties and uncles, we still gather together for Christmas every single year. We come from all over Australia to do that. And just prior to dinner, we all stand in a big circle and we focus on one particular thing around the festive season. And this past Christmas was around charity, and everyone spoke up about the charitable things they do that most of us didn't actually even realise all our family members were being such a wonderful, hardworking in the community. And it made me think, gosh, you do a lot of time and effort towards different organisations that don't necessarily bring you funds, but in the situation of having a needy group or a needy person and doing something directly for them as a charitable thing, I hadn't done anything for the whole year. And I was so impressed with my nephew, Jacob, who's 19 years old. He dearly loves wildlife. His aim is to work within wildlife in some capacity, yet he hasn't got the training or experience to get a job. So he spends most of his working week doing it all for nothing. And he was one of the first ones to be going into New South Wales and Queensland and help all the koalas and all the wildlife, getting them into hospitals to get treated and then being brought back into some sort of sustained environment where they can continue to live. And his work really inspired me. And so when you said it was for FireAid, I thought, gosh, this is just a gimme. So thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, that's great, and it's nice to have that personal story. And it's always nice to be charitable, and it's also fun, like you said, finding out what the rest of the family does, because sometimes we don't even know. It's a good family spirit and nice story there. Now, Julie, we've got, I think, 14 or 15 speakers on the agenda over 2 days, which is a great variety of speakers for people who have a specific interest, but also for people to maybe find out, another interest in dentistry that had not been on their radar. Who are you looking forward to hearing speak at FireAid?
I am desperately trying to get into an audience with Jane Bandy.
Oh,
Because
wow.
Jane and I have had this kind of mutual admiration society thing going on for a number of years on Facebook and social media. I read all of her blogs. I read your blogs as well. And I love her insights, and she seems to be just one of the most genuine, nice people of the world. And just before getting on with this call with you, I jumped onto her website and went through her testimonials, and there are just glorious things being said about her. So I'm super excited to see Jane speak and meet her finally face to face.
Oh, great. That's great because I was just saying to Dr. Harry Margaret yesterday that he's looking forward to hearing you speak, and I'm looking forward to hearing you speak as well. So we've got this mutual admiration society happening. I'm also looking forward to hearing your husband Charles speak and present. So it's exciting. There's some speakers. I know half of the speakers, but the other half I've not heard speak. So I'm really looking forward to what I can learn at the FireAid with the wide variety of speakers that we've got. So you're talking about Jacob, your nephew, and his connection with these fires and the animal rescue. Do you have any other personal connections in bushfires in the past, in Victoria or in New South Wales?
Luckily, I've been spared that. It's only been the stories through other friends and newspaper items and things like that I get to hear these heartbreaking stories. And it's a terrible space to be in when you find yourself censoring what you read because it's just too heartbreaking and too distressing. You have to keep reminding yourself that the distress that we feel, if we can convert that into something positive, like you've given me the opportunity to do with this, it can help you feel less helpless and that you're contributing in some way. And because it can get very distressing as an audience, especially with social media now, so many stories and images are in our faces all the time, you can get quite depressed about it. And so I think when you start to channel those feelings towards doing something constructive, it's only helpful. And so this is where I think dental teams out there are going to obviously benefit an enormous amount by coming along to this weekend, this extravaganza. I love that word that you described, this extravaganza, which is what it is with all these wonderful speakers. And so if they're feeling a sense of distress over what's been happening and not being able to do anything about it, this is a way that they can do it as a group and start to push out to their patient base. We have made this big step to make sure that we are bringing people back into Merimbula. Why don't you do it as well? And so I think it can become a larger message that gets spread out through the community, not just to dental.
I think it's going to be great once we get all those dentists. You're exactly right. The publicity that a dentist can use to tell their own patients, look, we're going to be closed on that Friday because we're attending a fundraiser for the people of Merimbula. That's very, very powerful. When Dr. Craig Newman sent me a story, a link to a story, I think it was from The Age, which said, don't holiday in Bali, holiday on the South Coast. And I said, well, what can I do? Why don't we get Jane to come down and do a workshop? Well, within 24 hours it had grown, not Jane, but let's get as many speakers as we can, get them all to come in. And every speaker's paying their own way, which is really good. So, nobody's getting any kickbacks. It's all pay your own way, and the money's going to, and I've chosen this because of the trouble that poor old Celeste Barber's in with, who she donated her money to. The money's going to the Bega Valley Shire Relief Fund. So it's going to go straight into the community there. It's not going to be go through lots of hoops and red tape and maybe not even get there, with the money that's gone to the rural fire service, can't even get to the people who need it. Some of those people, have lost their homes, lost their businesses, lost their fences, can't even keep their cattle in, with the bushfires. So it's really important that those people get some stimulus straight away. So we're hoping, as I told you, to raise over $100,000 for the community. And I think that'll be really well received. The other thing that's going to be well received, Julie, is that the industry leaders in Merimbula are looking at making Merimbula a destination for future events much like this. So they're looking at this event as being the start of something big. They're building a theatre especially for these sort of presentations. It won't be ready for us, but it will be ready, in December or January, the end of this year. And it's exciting to think that the dentists who don't really get a good name in the community, they're considered to be I think, faceless people behind masks and gloves who like to sit in the corner counting their money at the end of the day. It's nice that the dental community can actually be seen to be giving something back. So, Julie, I'm glad to have spoken with you this afternoon. Thank you very much for being on this call. Looking forward to hearing you in Merimbula and Charles, and I think it's going to be a great event.
I agree. And I'm pleased that you're recording it. Charles, of course, I've seen Charles speak so many times. It's such an inspiration to see him speak. And I still have him on loop when I walk around the streets on my hour-long walk every day, listening to him, because if I find I'm in a bit of a block or a funk, I go, oh, I'll just go for a walk, listen to Charles, I'll come back and I'm all revved up to keep going again. So I think the list of speakers that you've got, you're covering such a broad range of topics. It's really got, it's a compelling event to go to for dental teams. So I encourage all the dental teams out there, come along, bring everybody with you. Your whole experience of your dental life in your practice after this kind of event can really shift and change. And so all power to those teams that are coming along.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks for being on the call today.
Pleasure. Thank you.